sat in a chair facing her. When Maddie opened her eyes, Maryanne smiled hopefully, with that soft, sweet little smile of hers that Maddie knew even better than her own. "Oh," Maddie said, "it's you." "Yes, Mama," Maryanne said, "it's me. And you're awake." "Yes, I'm awake and I'm here." They gazed at one another for a long moment. Maddie marveled at the look of love in her daughter's bright hazel eyes. She noted the tender, sweet half smile on her daughter's face, and she smiled back at her. "Maryanne, I'm alive." "Yes, Mama, you are," Maryanne said, in the softly affectionate tone of voice she employed when Maddie was being a teeny bit silly. "You are." Maddie lifted her arms up. She noticed the IVs and the saline drips and various other tubes and hoses connected to her hands. She noticed the catheter tube emerging from beneath the sheet. She dropped her hands to the coverlet. "Oh, sweetheart, I'm so sorry that I put you through all this." "Oh, Mama," Maryanne said. And she bent forward and hugged her mother, but not too hard, because it was tricky navigating past the medical equipment and the hospital bed rail. As Maryanne pulled away, she wiped tears from her eyes. "I should go tell Daddy." Wait, just a minute," Maddie said, reaching for Maryanne's hand. "I want to say something to you and you alone." She held onto her daughter's hand. "Did you know you pulled out your intubation tube?" Maryanne asked with a wry smile. "Did I?" "Yes, Mama, you did. 4 hours ago. The nurses were horrified." "Well, I guess I'm pretty ornery then, aren't I?" "Yes, you are. They called in the doctor, and he said it might be a good sign, and you were breathing on your own by then, so he said to wait." "When did I pull out the intubation tube?" "Oh, 4 hours ago or so, around 2 a.m, I'd say." "What time is it now?" It's 6. Oh, the poor little girl. She'd been at Maddie's bedside all night long. She'd not gotten a good night's sleep. A wave of regret washed over Maddie and tears filled her eyes. "I see," she said at last. She gazed at Maryanne, marveling at what an amazing, talented, smart, and loving little girl she was. Helen had thought so much of Maryanne. Helen had thought so much of her grandson, too. Helen had loved her grandchildren dearly. There were so many things that Maddie longed to share with Maryanne, and yet she lay on this bed and didn't utter a word. She was apparently incapable of forming a cognitive thought. Time was passing, ticking away. Her life was passing, and yet, despite that knowledge, she felt strangely at peace. "I'm glad I didn't drown," Maddie said at last. Yeah," Maryanne said and laughed through her tears. "Yeah, Mama, I'd have to say I'm kind of glad too." Is this funny? Yes, she supposed it was. She gazed at her daughter. "I should really get Daddy," Maryanne said. Maddie longed to tell Maryanne of her madcap adventures, of what she'd been doing all night long, and which no doubt would sound like a wild dream or perhaps even an hallucination. That is, once she found the words to adequately convey all that happened and all that she'd lived through over the past 14 hours of her life. She'd cavorted with goddesses. She'd flown through the dark night. She'd saved the soul of a sculpture by persuading its artist not to take her life. She'd danced along moonbeams as the planet Venus embarked upon her transit across the sun. And what's more, she'd enjoyed herself. She'd had oh so much fun, and she'd learned so many things. She knew what Lady Venus had done for her. She knew what Victoria and Mary, the genius of water, had done for her. She knew what Little Stormcloud and Willow had done for her as well. She spoke. I've come to certain beliefs. Oh, Maryanne said with a soft smile. And what are those certain beliefs? I know now that women really are the souls of the earth. So men don't have souls? No, they do, honey. They do have souls. It's just that women are the souls of the earth. Oh. Maryanne didn't quite understand. Maddie reached for her daughter's hand and held it. It's only through women that we get to experience the renewal of life. Through birth and fertility and love and magic. Okay, Maryanne said. I know now that my own dear mother's soul had been good, very good indeed, and that my mother gave me everything I ever needed. My mother always believed in me and supported me and championed me, and even if she couldn't put it into so many words, how proud she was of me, for that was the Welsh girl in her, not to praise me too openly, lest I grow conceited. She showed her love for me through her actions and her smiles. And she always, always, always had my back. You've got my back too, Mama. I'm glad, honey. And then she remembered something else. When you were a baby, she began. Oh boy, Maryanne chuckled. Here we go again. On the first day I brought you to daycare, when you were 6 weeks old, I wept all the way to work because I felt terrible. I know you did, Mama, Maryanne said with a soft smile, as soft as the smile her own mother had given her. 6 weeks old. I felt so awful. I felt so guilty. Here you were, a tiny newborn baby and only 6 weeks old, and already I was dumping you at daycare, and I felt so guilty. I know you did, Mama. And you turned out all right, and I turned out all right. Maryanne glanced over her shoulder. She wanted to collect her father, Maddie's husband, to see that his wife had survived. But first, Maddie had to share something with Maryanne, something important. Sweetheart, you turned out more than all right. You grew up into a strong, beautiful, independent, smart, loving, and nurturing young woman. Oh, Mama. When I picked you up at the end of that day, Maddie continued, her throat thickening, I could hardly wait to get you home. I carried you upstairs with me to our bedroom, and I put you on the bed with me, and I held you on my stomach, and I rolled around on my back from side to side on the bed and with you on my stomach. And as I rolled around on the bed with you, I looked at you, and mind you, you were just a baby at the time. I saw you. Your eyes were closed, and you were smiling a wide, happy, toothless baby smile of happiness. Maryanne did not speak. She simply sat there and smiled at her mother with love. A woman never truly thanks her own mother for the good she did her while raising her. At least not in her mother's lifetime. Rather, a woman thanks her mother by paying it forward into her daughter's heart. Maryanne pulled her hand gently out of Maddie's. I'm going to go find Daddy. Okay, sweetheart, she said, and let her go.